Hello, everybody. Once again, it's the TBK podcast. Myself, LL. Today, I'm joined with Dave, and I'm joined with Tunde. And yeah, let's get into this. Joshua Buatsi. He's going to be fighting this weekend. The date is the 15th.
15th of May. Yeah.
15th of May. Joshua Buatsi. He's going out again. He's going to be fighting. What's the brother's name?
Daniel Dos Santos.
Daniel Dos Santos.
Daniel Dos Santos. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not going to pretend like I know who Daniel Dos Santos is. I'm not going to pretend like I know anything about him. I do know who Joshua Buatsi is, though. So yeah, let's get into this then. Tunde, would you like to give your thoughts on Buatsi, the fight, if it is a challenge, even what's going on?
You know what? I've never even heard of this geezer. This Daniel Blenda Dos Santos. All right. He is 16 fights. His last couple of fights, so the last 3 fights he's won them all. Most of his opponents have had losing records. And
so is he an undefeated fighter?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Quote unquote undefeated. Like his last couple of fights, the second fight he had was Alexandrov, who had a 10, 44 and 4 record. Yeah, that was in his 15th fight. Yeah,
right. Sorry. 10, 44 and 4. Or like 10 wins, 44 losses. I had to catch that. Hold on, what? So this brother has had like 3 times more losses than he's had wins.
Wait. Sorry. 4 times more losses than wins. Yeah. Then this is actually quite amusing, right? So another fighter called Makareshvili, yeah.
You probably butchered his name, but yeah.
No. I don't butcher nobody's name. With a last name like mine, I don't butcher nobody's name.
Say no more. I don't.
Anyway, so he's losing record. Well, his record was 13, 23 and 1. Yeah. And this Dos Santos guy only won by points, so he fought him again a couple fights later by TKO. Right, so it just shows you the caliber of this guy. So
how old is he?
30.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's from France. Yeah, that's all that I can say about him. It's gonna be a wash, to be honest. I don't see any problems for Buatsi.
Well, you can't see because you don't know who he's up against. For all we know, yeah, we'll be like, yeah, but Buatsi's gonna just go out there and beat this guy, and this guy goes out there and he's just like some unknown entity and that, and he just smashes Buatsi to bits and that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know, innit?
Maybe if we was in an alternative reality, maybe. But I just don't see it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not like, trying to be offensive in any way, shape or form, but it's just in terms of caliber, I just don't. He is a bit of an unknown quantity, but looking at his record, he hasn't really done much. I think his record is quite padded, to be honest. I mean, all but 3 of his opponents, of his 16 opponents, have had losing records. Yeah. So that kind of sort of like shows you his caliber. But like you said, I mean, anything could happen on any given night, and we'll see. We'll see what happens, but I think it's going to be a standard Buatsi win. Okay,
let's talk about Buatsi for a second. I mean, Dave, what do you think about Buatsi in terms of his progress? Because I mean, at one point when he was coming up, there was a lot of talk of him fighting Yard, and Yard not really wanting the smoke with him, and we kind of seen what's happened to Yard. I mean, would you say Buatsi's on a high or a low right now? Where would you kind of place him in the mix of things?
I think he's pretty much hit a little bit of a low in terms of the publicity, even down to his marketing, really, because when you think about his earlier fights, this fight's kind of, again, happened with relative little fanfare. It's gone completely under the radar, and the fact that he's fighting a guy, even though he's got a winning record, is the fact that he's fighting a guy that has the sort of record he's got. It kind of tells you that he's not as much as a priority as he used to be. But I think the fact that the guy has got a winning record, you know, has had 2 more fights than him and only boxed 3 more rounds than him, I think that might slightly help his profile. But in terms of the whole him and Yard thing, I'll be honest, I think that was something that was needed just to kind of get the both of them more publicity, get them out there a bit more, get them into the marketplace, if it were. Do you know what I mean? I still think he is a very talented fighter. He admitted in his last couple of fights he didn't do what he was supposed to have done. He's changed his trainer for that now, and he's with Virgil Hunter, who we know, you know, famously from working with Amir Khan and Andre Ward, mainly Andre Ward. What Virgil Hunter will bring to him is a certain level of strictness, I believe. And if we marry up his natural ability with what he can learn from Virgil Hunter, I think he can go on to do really good things still, and still be quite a name in the division. I mean, you know, he's 28, which kind of says that the years have gone on a little bit, and he's kind of, like again I said, hovered under the radar a little bit compared to what it was like at the beginning of his career. But I hope that this can kickstart him on, because he still only had 13 fights, to be fair to him. But I do believe he needs this one to kick on, really and truthfully. And I'm hoping that after this fight, he kind of puts himself out there a bit more, not for the wrong reasons. We're hoping we're not going to see like a British Prescott and Amir Khan type situation, where he's fighting someone that no one knows about, and then before you know it, he has to start again. But I hope he does what he has to do. I hope he dazzles, or at least puts on a bit of a show, and that way there he'll garner the public interest again.
I mean, Buatsi, this fight here, to be honest, I think this fight is probably just to kind of see where he's at under his tutelage from Virgil Hunter. Like Virgil Hunter, he's a trainer that I've always kind of liked, because, you know, guiding Ward to world titles and stuff like that from when he was a kid and stuff, you know, that's what Virgil's known for. But I like his cerebral approach to the game. And I think that he would actually, you know, he's actually a good addition to the team for Buatsi, because the last fight that I saw Buatsi in, man, he just took way too much punishment. Like, do you know what I'm trying to say? It's like I feel like he was just kind of used to just kind of going in there, hitting guys and blasting them out. And then he fought someone who put up wasn't even that much of a resistance, but a bit of a resistance. You know, he ended up with like, his eye was swollen shut, and it just seemed a bit of a laboured affair, basically. So hopefully, you know, Virgil, he's going to add more of a kind of cerebral approach to Buatsi's work, and it will be interesting to see. But I don't feel that this is going to be one of those fights where Buatsi's going to be in there dazzling and whatnot. I mean, it could even end up being something similar to what happened with Chris Eubank Jr. and Roy Jones the other day, where, you know, these guys want to get in rounds and just to try out certain things or whatever. I mean, Buatsi might just get in. It's either that or Buatsi's going to get in there and just blow this guy out. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Pause. Yeah, but that's all I can really see. Like, other than that, I don't really know what to take from this. I don't know enough about the opponent to critique him. I mean, I know you guys to look up the opponent, and you couldn't find no footage on him or nothing, can it?
not often.
Like, yeah, no. You know, we'll see anyway. All right. I mean, is there anything else that you guys would like to add before we sign out?
So I think I'll add slightly to what you were saying. I mean, again, I know I said the word dazzle, but I'm just hoping that we do see some level of development, because again, the kid's talented, and if we look at kind of what took place with Anthony Yard, or has taken place with Anthony Yard in his last couple of fights, we do need one of them to at least fulfill the promise that they displayed from the beginning. And I feel with his fundamentals and with Virgil and his team, I think this would be a good fight to display what they've been learning on, as you mentioned. And I do believe we can't, just because we don't know anything about his opponent, I don't think we can really write the guy off.
No, of course not. Yeah, I'm saying not knowing anything about him works two ways.
Yeah, it does.
You know what I mean? Just because you don't know his name, it doesn't mean he's a bum. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, it's you know, it don't mean that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, some people are like, oh, who the fuck is this guy? Like, oh, he's a bum. Because you don't know who he is, it don't mean he's a bum. Yeah, but we're gonna find out on the day anyway. I'm gonna know as soon as the bell goes off. Yeah, within the first, I don't know, minute of the fight or so, I think I'll be able to deduce what kind of level of opponent he's fighting. You know what I mean? So, Tunde, do you want to add anything?
Just to be honest, I don't see anything other than a Buatsi win. Whether he dazzles or not isn't really the focus. I think he showed in his last fight that he can have pressure placed on him and still come out, albeit he did take a bit more punishment than he should have taken. But then, this is boxing. You're going to get, at some point, you will get tested. And that was a little bit of a mini test for him, and he came through it. Like, I think with that, he kind of decided to himself that, he needs to maybe just, look at another trainer and see what they can add to his game. And him linking up with Hunter is a great thing. He's an excellent trainer. I've always thought so. So I'm very keen to see what sort of improvements Buatsi has added, to his game, and then we'll take it from there. In terms of him and Yard, I think they're on two completely different trajectories at the moment. And touching on David's point about him not being a priority, I kind of disagree with that to a certain extent, only insofar as, this is someone who he's 13 fights in. He only turned pro, 4 years ago, 2017. And if we take away what's happened over the last year and a half with the whole pandemic and everything, it's that kind of explains a lot of the delay in him fighting. So I think he's very much a priority, but I just think that they're just taking time with him, which they should. So yeah, that's my sense.
Okay.
Do you think it matters that this is for like a WBA international light heavyweight title though, or is that yet another just belts are getting handed out a little bit easy these days? Do we think that's this is another instance of that?
I do think that belts are getting handed out like confetti. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the governing bodies came out with international belt for teenagers at some point, for like 12-year-olds or whatever. That's how diluted some of these belts are. But I think that's a topic for topic all of its own, to be honest. But I'm not really too concerned about that, to be honest, at the moment.
All right, cool. So yeah, we have Joshua Buatsi versus, who do we say the guy was? Dos Santos?
Yeah.
Daniel,
yeah. Well, Daniel Dos Santos, did you say?
Yeah.
Daniel Blenda Dos Santos.
Yeah, all right, cool. So, Buatsi versus Dos Santos. Hey, stop it. Yeah, Buatsi versus Dos Santos on the 15th of May.
What?
Hold on, wait. What? Hold on. No, hold on. What month are we in?
Yeah, we're in May. We're in May, and it is on the 15th.
We are in May, yeah?
Yeah,
okay, let's do that again.
You're right.
All right, yeah, sorry, man, sorry. We have Buatsi versus Dos Santos on the 15th of May. We'll see how Buatsi looks, since he started training with Virgil Hunter. We will see what Virgil Hunter's added to his game. And, yeah, it'll be interesting. So, it's myself, LL, alongside David, Tunde. This is TBK Podcast. Take it easy.
And this is the TBK Podcast.